Our next story is about the fall of an icon, the automaker Nissan. It used to be everywhere at one point, in the Fast and Furious movies, in console games, and in magazines and toy sets. But now Nissan is on life support. The company may not survive beyond 2025. And who is saying this? Senior executives at Nissan. They say the company can survive up to 12 or 14 months. It needs to find a major investor by then. If not, Nissan could go bankrupt. The CEO has also admitted that hard times are ahead. His name is Makoto Uchida. He's planning to cut 9,000 jobs. He will also reduce production capacity by 20%. Plus, he's taking a pay cut himself. The CEO is forfeiting half of his salary. All of this is expected to save $2.6 billion in costs. It's a big figure, but it's not going to be enough. So tonight, we are focusing on three questions. How did things go wrong with Nissan? What does their future look like? And what does it say about the auto market in general? Let's start with Nissan. It was founded in the year 1911 in Japan. Today, they are the 9th biggest auto company in the world. In many ways, Nissan was ahead of its times. They introduced the first mass-market electric vehicle back in 2010, the Nissan Leaf. They also had a sizable foothold in China and the US, their two main markets. Then how did things go so wrong? Well, Nissan faced three main problems. The first was leadership. For almost 18 years, the company was led by one man, Carlos Ghosn. But in 2018, he was arrested in Japan. He was accused of financial fraud at Nissan. Ghosn was placed under house arrest, but he later escaped to Lebanon, and that too by hiding himself inside a box on a plane. Clearly, that episode destabilized Nissan. Ghosn's successors could not crack the code, so leadership or the lack of it was a major problem. The second problem was a failed bet on EVs. Like I said, Nissan had EVs in 2010, but they could not keep up with Tesla or their Chinese rivals. The design, the technology, all of it was slightly outdated. Plus, Nissan did not have hybrid models. These are cars that use both fuel and batteries. That's why hybrid. A lot of customers find EVs too expensive, so they buy hybrids instead. But Nissan could not tap into that market either. As a result, sales plunged. Nissan sold 3.3 million vehicles last year, which is 40% down from 2017. Same with the share prices. Nissan is almost 47% down in the last 5 years. It has lost $30 billion in market value in under a decade. Then we come to problem number 3. The loss of a major partner and shareholder. The French automaker Renault. Renault saved Nissan from bankruptcy in 1999. They bought a 43% stake in Nissan. But 25 years later, Renault is leaving the partnership. They're selling their stake, which has left a big financial hole. Now, those are the three reasons for Nissan's downfall. Leadership issues, inability to compete with modern EV makers, and the exit of a long-time partner. That is why they're sinking. Which brings us to the second question. What does the future look like? Well, simply put, Nissan needs to find a new investor, someone who can scoop up the Renault shares, someone who can inject some cash to keep things running, and a number of names are doing the rounds. Among them is Honda. Nissan and Honda already have an EV partnership. Perhaps that could evolve into something more, something bigger. And now to the final question. What does this say about the auto industry in general? That it's going through a churn, that much is clear. The old boys are struggling to keep up with the new ones. By old boys, I mean the likes of Volkswagen and Nissan. The new ones are Tesla, BYD, Rimac. Volkswagen has reported a 60% drop in profits. They're thinking about shutting down 3 plants in Germany. Another victim is Stellantis, the makers of Jeep, Fiat, and Citroën. Their car sales were 20% down compared to last year. So the Stellantis CEO resigned on Sunday. Meanwhile, the newer car companies are thriving. Just look at the top 5 automakers by market value today. Tesla is at number 1. BYD is at number 3. You have Ferrari at number 4, but they don't count as a mass market car. So going forward, expect major changes in the auto sector. Government regulations are changing, customers are changing, and so is automotive technology. Companies that adapt will end up surviving. Those that do not will perish or be gobbled up. Let's see which fate awaits Nissan.